Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Here we are at the island party out here along the Chicago Riverwalk. We're across from the Sheridan here, and there's some pleasure crafts going by, some people walking the dogs. There's Navy Pier off in the distance. So I made it to this point. I was walking earlier, just before this, and my screen cut out. So I switched to the 4G. And I'm running from the hotspot on my other phone, so we'll see if this solves my connectivity issues. I didn't realize my bandwidth suddenly dropped, and sometimes that happens. Right now we're streaming 3,800 kilobits clear to the rear here, so we'll let people come back in here. I want to reassure people that I was just having technical difficulties. Even though I have unlimited I pay a lot to my service provider for unlimited bandwidth. I notice sometimes they do curtail my bandwidth, and I suspect that's what's going on. You know why I don't like corporations, because they just probably can't imagine someone like me using this much bandwidth. But hey, thanks everybody for coming back. Sorry I dropped out there. I had to switch to the 4G. For some reason I didn't notice it. I just, started, since I rushed out of work and I was late getting started on the previous live where we lost our connection. I didn't notice my bandwidth was dropping down until I saw some things in the comments there. So it took me a while to restart the live here. Here you can see the Riverview shoreline barge going by. There's the Centennial Fountain in the background. We filmed that. We might catch the jet. Probably at 1 o'clock it'll shoot a jet over there, so we might catch that if we can time it right. We'll continue with our plan here. We'll head over towards the DuSable Lakeshore Drive bridge there, and we'll continue to head towards this construction site, 400 Lakeshore. Yeah, we're back there. Thanks for coming back, everything. Thanks, Michael, Krista, Marco, Taco, and Diane, Anna Marie, Michael. And sorry I cut out there, just technical difficulties. I don't know what's up. Every month, it used to be like towards the end of the month. See, we're at the beginning of the month here. This is strange that it's happening now. It would get towards the end of the month, and I would have to play this game where I would have to use my hotspot to get a connection. And I pay for the unlimited bandwidth with my service provider. I pay a lot for it. And maybe I'm going to have to switch service providers, because we've dealt with this before where we have connectivity issues, and it only happens intermittently and seems to come in bunches. And the frustrations of live streaming are legion. We talk about this all the time, so we'll just keep going here. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for understanding the technical difficulties. We'll head past the kayak place here. We'll go check out this construction site. Here's the urban kayaks, and yeah, it happens sometimes. Thanks for understanding, Marco. Yeah, that's it's no matter what, technology fails us once again, but we got backups to the backups, and we'll keep on rolling here. So thanks for understanding, and we'll keep going here. So it looks like there's still work being done on, that's the construction site we're going to check out there. We'll walk across this bridge, DuSable Lakeshore Drive bridge. We'll go by Taco Rio here. We'll get glimpses to the Navy Pier and stuff, and then we'll probably come back the Ogden Slip and walk through Streeterville a little bit. I checked out the lobby to that RIU hotel, but I don't know if we'll get over there too, if we got time or not. Here's Taco Rio. Back on, Sharon, thanks for finding me. Juan Pablo Bonell, yeah, thanks for, yeah, a lot of stuff's changed. A lot of stuff changed. See, that was going to be the Calatrava site. Now they're going to build 2 residential towers there, right by Lake Point Tower on the other side. And here's Streeterville. Yeah, look at all this residential development. We got Taco Rio. Is a pretty popular spot later in the day. There'll be people sitting out there. You just go up and order at the window. They got a bar and everything, and you can sit out here. And it's kind of at the eastern end of the Riverwalk. They added all this landscaping, which is nice. Get some greenery down here. And yeah, when I first moved to Chicago 26 years ago, this was not as accessible. It was really hard to get down to the river, and they've really improved it a lot. I see people kayaking there. There's a shoreline sightseeing, and so Yeah, let's head over and we'll try to cross this bridge here. Yeah, it's a cool place to hang out there. Lambie T, yeah, we're back on. So what happened was, you know, for some reason, my 5G connection, they were like throttling me or something with my service provider, because they probably, even though I pay for unlimited, I get so exhausted trying to explain this that they still, I'll never know what goes on. It's just sometimes I notice that I lose my 5G and I have to switch to 4G, same service provider, and it'll work with the 4G and it won't work with the 5G. So good thing I got different bandwidth spectrums there I can try out, game the system. So if you go through there, we've gone through this before, you'll pop out at DuSable Harbor there in Lake Michigan. We're going to go this way because we're going to cross the bridge. Maybe we'll get up there in time to see this boat go by here. For years they had this locked off. You couldn't go up these stairs, but they open it up now so you can walk on this side of the bridge, which is nice for us checking out this construction site. So I'm going to rush to get up here so maybe we get this boat going by here. We'll cross the DuSable Lakeshore Drive Bridge here in Chicago. Thanks for bearing with me. We'll get you some nice views here in a second there. There's where Wacker Drive connects with Lakeshore. And we're going to cross right here. So we got 12:33 in the PM. There's that boat, so we didn't get here in time, but there it is. Hey, almost in time. We got this going under the bridge there. That's a nice boat. Nice wood. Classic. There's the walkway. There's a nice view looking back to the Trump Tower in Chicago. There's a little pleasure crab heading by. There's a construction site we're going to check out there. This is all Streeterville to the right. Chicago River in the center. Lakeshore East to the left. That's the Riverwalk we just came up. There's the St. Regis there. 1,100 feet tall. Jeannie Gang, architect. There's the Trump Tower, 1,200 feet tall, just because it has that spire at the top. Let's go check out this construction site. Yeah, beautiful view. Beautiful view. Check out this beautiful view here. We cross the Chicago River here. Yeah, an active construction site. They're starting on the South Tower. That was the one where the circle for the Calatrava Spire Foundation. And I don't know if they're going to build one tower. One looks like one tower will top out before the other one. The way they're staging it here. Yeah, so Michael, yeah, so as I understand it, remember we walked down here one day where when I got that film of the Centennial Fountain that shoots across. You see, there's the Riverwalk on the north side. Yeah, they're going to extend it right up into there. So you'll be, and hopefully you'll be able to walk underneath here and go out to the future, yet to be implemented DuSable Park. There's a park there that's a brownfield site. They've been remediating it for a long time. Here, let's head down here. Let's check out this construction site here. So here's the 400. This is the 400 North Lakeshore construction site. Look at those giant beams they took out of there. And that's some of the, yeah, so that hole is pretty deep there. So we'll go over and look at it there. This is the first look we're getting at it. So I think it's changed somewhat since the last time we went by here. We've cruised by this earlier. There's TikToks and YouTubes that I cut out where you see this earlier stage of development. See, there's the river. See where that person's walking right there? I think they want to extend the north side of the Riverwalk over here, and then hopefully you'll be able to go out and connect towards Navy Pier, or at least connect to the bike path somehow. But I'm not for sure about that. So here's there's going to be two towers. One tower is going to be here, and the other tower is going to be over there. It's residential towers. You can look it up online if you're interested in what this looks like. I think there's a rendering up here. 400 North Lakeshore is what they're calling this. And look at this cement truck coming down the ramp here. Got some fresh mud coming into the construction site here. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Today is the anniversary of 9/11. Of course, our hearts and thoughts go out to all the members, family members, and people that knew people that died on 9/11 in New York or Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania. No, I didn't see any 9/11 memorials in New York. That's mainly in Chicago. I mean, that's mainly a New York and Washington, D.C. thing, in Pennsylvania. I'm sure we want to honor and respect and pay our thought. In Chicago, we support everybody that was affected in 9/11, but I did not see any 9/11 tributes or memorials in Chicago. There might have been some on TV that I missed, but this is the 400 Lakeshore development. But thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, we need to. Today's September 11th, and we all remember where we were at on September 11th, 2001, when that tragic day there. Look at the fireboat going by. So there's the Chicago River. There's the whole Lakeshore East skyline there. And look how much this has progressed. Remember, there was a round hole here where the College Rabbit Spire was supposed to go, was filled up with water. They have since started the core for the new building. They've dismantled a large portion of that, and look how they added these. See how the level of the water is higher than the level of the ground? That's holding back the Ogden Slip and in effect the River Chicago and Lake Michigan. This is lower than the level of Lake Michigan and the Ogden Slip, which is the same level as the Chicago River. And this is an active construction site here for 400 Lakeshore. And we might post this on TikTok so people can see the update to the construction progress here. Yeah, progress. Today would have been your brother's birthday. You went home in 2016. Well, happy birthday to your brother there. Yeah, good afternoon, David there. Who else I missed? Dolores Patty Cakes, Dave and Bangor. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, I missed Marco. Thanks everybody for tuning in there. I had to restart this live, but we still got 50 people in here, so thanks for coming back here. We're checking out the construction site here of 400 North Lakeshore. They got all the flags there. But look at that. Look how they added this wall to keep the water from coming in. I don't know if there's going to be underground parking here or what they're going to do. Look at this crane. So there's all kinds of construction sites we'll be able to. There's the future site of the Valley's Casino there, the permanent location, which is North Branch of the Chicago River. There's this site. I guess they're going to rebuild some. They're going to build some housing there. Where here, let me get across this. This truck's trying to turn here. There's always something looking to run you over here. It's dangerous walking on the streets. We'll walk down the Ogden Slip here. There you can look back and you see how you can clearly see the level of the water, and the hole is deeper, and they're keeping all that water from rushing in there so they could build the foundation of that 400 Lakeshore there. That's amazing. But here we'll head down to the Ogden. Yeah, Chicago's on stilts. We were built on a pestilential swamp. They had to raise the city, kept jacking up the streets, and they would jack up the buildings and jack up the streets and reverse the river, and the great lengths that were we went through to make this flat, poorly draining area work for a big city. There it is. There's that construction site there. What time we got here? 12:40. Okay, good. So let's keep going this way. We'll walk down the Ogden Slip here. So I'll keep the camera focused this way so we can check out the construction site here. Yeah. Heavenly birthday to your brother Lambie T there. Yeah, thanks Lambie T, in memory of your brother there. And yeah, 9/11. Does everybody remember where they were at on September 11, 2001? I was in Chicago. I had been living here for a few years, and of course everybody remembers exactly where they were at because I was late to work. I think I was still drinking, so I was hungover. And of course, I had just gotten back. We went to Burning Man that year. I went to Burning Man 2001, which happened Labor Day. And I just got back into Chicago. I probably came from California, and I was all, imagine that, going from partying at Burning Man to waking up to 9/11. And I turned on the TV, and I saw the first plane had already hit the first tower, and there was smoke. And, I remember reading stories about a plane hitting the Empire State Building like many decades earlier, and I was just like, oh, a plane, that's so tragic. A plane, somehow messed up and wrecked into the World Trade Centers. And I was literally watching the TV live when the second plane hit the second tower, and immediately everybody in the entire country knew, and the announcers knew, that it wasn't an accident. And we knew that this somehow was a attack. And then I didn't know what to do. I was kind of hungover, and I was like, I better still go to work. And so I was trying to get to work by like 9 o'clock. And so I literally ran to the subway. I noticed people on the subway were really nervous, and that was before everybody had news on their cell phones. People had cell phones, but your phone really didn't do anything. And so I got downtown. And I noticed the announcer, the conductor, he was like, we're going express downtown. He just wanted to like get downtown because nobody knew what was going on. And so I went to work. This is September 11, 2001. And when I went to the office, half the office was just watching the TV. We had some TVs in the office, and I think in the time that I went on the subway, the first tower had collapsed. And there was people like crying at my work, and I was like, and they said the first tower collapsed, and I'm like, it collapsed, and I missed it because I was commuting, and then the Pentagon had already been hit with the third plane. The fourth plane, they knew there was another fourth plane. They didn't know that was the one that crashed in Pennsylvania. So people in Chicago got really nervous because we didn't know where it was headed. We didn't know if it was going to try to hit the Sears Tower or another city. And so we're talking about memories of 9/11 here, September 11th. And so people I worked with that had families and kids and stuff, they started leaving and going back and, taking off. And my boss said, he goes, you can't take a vacation day. You're supposed to work today. My boss literally said that. And so I worked till noon. I was one of like the last people to leave the office. And by got noon, he said, well, everybody just go home. And so I went out into the Michigan Avenue on September 11th, and I hailed a taxi, and there was like nobody in the streets. Everybody had already like cleared downtown because everybody was just freaked out. And I was talking to the taxi driver, went to my friend's house, and the rest of the day we just watched the news. We just watched the news, and we called my family and called my parents, and everybody checked in, and it was horrible, and yeah, we could talk about the debate. Did people see the debate? I think Kamala did a great job. I think she certainly won the debate. I know the Trump's team's trying to spin it anyway. When they start complaining against the moderators, you had a bad debate if you blame it on the moderators not letting you lie. But yeah, it was a strong debate performance by Kamala Harris, and she exceeded expectations, I think. Trump kind of was off balance. To me, the whole debate can be summed up with when he started talking about the Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating dogs and cats, and Kamala was just sitting there smiling, letting them take the bait. And I had no idea about that story. It shows you, if you're not in MAGA world, which I'm not in MAGA world, of course, I live here in Chicago. I didn't even know that was a story. I didn't know, and then I talked to, there's some people I encounter downtown that I know that are Trump supporters with my business, and I brought it up to them, and they knew all about that story, and they explained me about it and how concerned they are about the Haitian immigrants overrunning Springfield, and I'm like, it's just fear. It's just fear. Fear sells, and it's a totally conspiracy theory, made up story. They check with the local authorities. That's why the moderators of the debate last night immediately pushed back And Trump was like, well, we saw it on TV. Well, that doesn't mean it's true. We're in the post-truth world. That's the problem. Just because you see something on TV, you see it on the internet, doesn't mean it's true. And that's why we're all so confused, because we don't get the same news, you know? And, but when he started doing that, I was like, that's just going to sum up this whole debate there. And then Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala, and that was a good PR move on her part to do it there, because they were doing AI generated fake content having her supporting Trump. And of course the Trump campaign saying, oh, we know nothing about that, we had nothing. Well, yeah, you know, you didn't distance yourself from it either. You didn't say this is false. They're like, oh, we don't know, make up your own mind. Yeah, you jerks. But hey, how's it going there? Yeah, great debate. He didn't like being fact-checked. Yeah, he wants to get away with your lies. If you just let him lie, he'll just lie and lie and lie. And he really believes the lies. We all, you know, I believe my own reality. He believes his own reality. We don't live in the same reality, you know. And here's the Centennial Fountain here, 1247. I don't know if I'm going to wait around the whole time for this thing to... We got some good footage of it earlier, so I'll just show you the beautiful part that runs all the time here, the Centennial Fountain here, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, commemorative Centennial Fountain here. And if we're over in this area, it's so nice that this is on now. It's like our little Niagara Falls here, artificial. Hey Damien, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Damien, appreciate it there. Annette. Yeah, we're here by the Centennial Fountain here. Hey, he was ready to leave. He's like, I'm out of here. Yeah. Here's where the water jet comes out, but you got to wait till 1 o'clock. It shoots at 5 minutes on the hour, you know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it'll shoot across there. So maybe we'll see it from the Michigan Avenue Bridge. Maybe we'll get over to the Michigan Avenue Bridge and check it out from over there. There's walking. I got some outdoor seating over here. There it is. There's the Trump Tower. There's some kayaks. But yeah, we made it past the debate. Now we're commemorating the memory of 9/11, September 11th. And tonight on my way home here, I got to pick up my new glasses there. I'll stop at the Warby Parker on Rush Street there. That'll be tonight. There's a cute dog here, just promenading there. Yeah, checking it out. So you got the seating over here. This is nice. You can sit under the trees here. Lizzie McNeil's. How you doing? And there's more dogs promenading here. We got kayakers. Yeah. So, Annette, the name of that fountain we just passed is called the Centennial Fountain. Like the 100 years centennial. It commemorates the 100 years between 1889 and 1989. 1889 was when they started the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal, eventually led to the reversing of the Chicago River. It took them over a decade to get the project finished. I think it wasn't until 1900, and it reversed the flow of the Chicago River, where that fountain and everything else, the Centennial Fountain, it flows down to the Mississippi instead of going into Lake Michigan. It solved our problem of the pollution in the river from the Union stockyards and the industries of Chicago was polluting our drinking source, Lake Michigan. So instead of stopping the pollution, we just reversed the flow of the river to flush it down to the Mississippi, which it solved our immediate problem. It didn't solve the pollution problem. We just externalized it. We just externalized it and shipped it down to St. Louis. And St. Louis was like, no wonder there's a rivalry between St. Louis and Chicago this day, because we shipped all our pollution down to them. No alcohol behind this point. Hey Christopher, how you doing there? So yeah, Christopher, you probably know I'm sure there's a lot of 9/11 commemorative events going on all day long today throughout New York City and Washington D.C. and Pennsylvania. It affects your communities much more than ours, but we all remember and support and don't want to forget what happened that tragic day. I was telling my own personal story of, like all of us, that were old enough to remember September 11th, 2001, where we were at. I was in Chicago, and I actually was watching TV when the second plane hit, but I didn't see the towers fall down live. I was on the subway, and then I went to work, and people were watching TV, and they were like, and we were just like in total disbelief. And I work with and people in New York the rest of the day, they were just trying to get out of lower Manhattan, you know, walking across those bridges covered with dust. You know, it's hard, you know, we're all traumatized by it still to this day. And then, you know, we knew it was just the start. Two whole wars were fought. For Afghanistan lasted 20 years after that. Isn't that amazing? You know, and Iraq, Saddam Hussein, you know, Osama bin Laden, they eventually got him. And so we won't forget here, September 11th. And the Aeon strangely kind of looks like the World Trade Centers. It's just one of two in New York. By noon, September 11th, I was here on September 11th. It was hard to get a taxi on Michigan Avenue because everybody was pretty much cleared out of the downtown by noon because we didn't know if there was going to be other attacks. Here's City View. Thanks, Christopher. So yeah, please watch Christopher Dodson's YouTube live stream. He does such a great job, and you'll be able to cover New York City. The memorials are all happening in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. I don't know, there might be something going on Daley Plaza. I didn't think about that. And but what is it, 23 years after it happened here? Talking about 9/11. You worked retail? You had to stay open, 0 customers. Yeah, that was. You remember that, Sharon? Yeah, thanks for everybody for sharing your stories there. I know I missed some here. Let's go back and look down here. So Christopher's going down to the memorial. Thanks, Christopher, for doing that. So Christopher will be covering that. So please watch Christopher Dodson's. I'll check it out too. You worked for some people at a bank in New Jersey, covered with dust, and that, you remember that. That's amazing. Quiet day, stressful and eerie, yeah. They evacuate the Sears Tower, yeah, I see that, Marco. Yeah, today's a sad day for a lot of people. We remember people that have lost. You were on Marty's live, New York City, One World Trade Freedom Tower this morning. So Marty went down there. So Marty, you guys know Marty Mamora. He's a great live streamer there from New York City on TikTok. Hey, Isaac. Yeah, good. So, if I stick around here, we got 12:55. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to try to get up on there, and we'll try to... Here comes the Star of Chicago going right underneath us here. So let's get the Star of Chicago going underneath us here, and then we'll get in position. We'll try to catch the Centennial Fountain. So you'll get to see the water jet spray across the river. We've shown it before, but since I'm in this area and we're getting close to 1 o'clock, we can do it there. There's the Trump Tower. There's the Rigby Building, the Tribune Tower. See, and the Trump Tower doesn't look as menacing to me now that I feel more confident about Kamala Harris's chances in the election here. You'll see, it's still got a long way to go. It's still going to be a close election. It's going to be razor thin margins. We all still need to vote. You know, I don't think people are pretty much locked in, and there's just a small fraction of people that are undecided that are going to decide this whole election. Isn't it amazing? A few states, electoral college weirdness. Anything can happen between now and election day, so still got a long way to go. We can't, whichever way you lean politically, it's not over yet. And I respect other people's viewpoints. I know it's hard. It's such a polarized period we're living through in this country, where it's like we're living in two different Americas that see the country in two different ways. You know, I was shocked about how much Trump was bashing America and how much he was putting down and saying we're gonna lose our country and our greatness is past. And you know, all you got to do is have a hopeful. Give us something to hope for, dude. You know, you just, you know, you can't just say like everything's gonna be better only if I'm elected. No, it's not. It's not all about you, dude. You know, I think people know how I feel about that guy, but I know some people really love him, and so if that's your view, I respect that. I don't understand it, but you don't understand my viewpoint either, and I accept that. So here we go. We'll head over on Whacker Drive here. Yeah, I'll try to walk down towards where these people are at. See how the sidewalk gets really narrow, and I'll try to get across from the Centennial Fountain. I've done this for the when they dye the river green for St. Patrick's Day, we walk down here and try to get across from where they usually dye the plumbers union dyes the river green there for St. Patrick's Day. I'll get beyond the trees here. There's somebody else following me here. This is not really a sidewalk. There should be a sidewalk there. We're going to try to get down where that guy's at, because then we'll be right across from where the Centennial Fountain will shoot the water jet there. Yeah, I know. He causes quite a reaction. I just, yeah, he's not my cup of tea. I can relate. He's a very polarizing figure. It's so rare to encounter somebody that doesn't have a strong feeling either for or against him. And I guess that's part of politics. Well, even Kamala is polarizing, I guess. But I think she had a more hopeful message. I think she was more in control in the debate. And even though she made some unfounded promises, like all politicians do, Trump's were even more unfounded. He said, I'll get back to you on that. He said that a few times. Here's the Centennial Fountain. Yeah, let's stand strong as Americans. Let's try to be united for one day here. Yeah, I'm gonna go by. No, it's fine. No, you're fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, they repaved this. They repaved this. Look at that. So here's the shoreline here. So we'll get a nice view here for the Centennial Fountain here. So we got 1259. If you're staying on, see, here's Navy Pier. There's Lakeshore Drive, DuSable Lakeshore Drive. There's the Centennial Fountain. They just recently turned it on about a month ago. There's a shoreline boat going by. And the reason I'm sticking around there, and the reason those kayaks are there, they're gonna shoot a water jet across the river here. So let's, I'm missing comments here because I'll get your comments once we get the fountain. I'll try to get it starting. There it goes, there it goes. There's the Centennial Fountain. We caught it right at 1 o'clock here. There's shooting the water jet across the Chicago River. Can you hear the water? Can you hear the water hitting the river there? And yeah, we stand to lose a lot. I saw that. Here's, look at that. They got the kayakers there. And there's the Centennial Fountain. And there's a big bus going by here. Hey, we got it. We got it right on 1 o'clock. This will run for 5 minutes. So I'm not going to stick around the entire time. You see what's going on there. But let's zoom in here. Let's zoom into the whole kayakers, Centennial Fountain there. We just walked through there. Remember, we just walked through there, and there it is, shooting across the river there. September 11, 2001. So we'll use this opportunity to not forget. Let's remember that tragic day and the over 3,000 people that lost their lives in New York City. I'm glad Christopher Dotson, I'm glad you're covering it. And I'm glad Marty Mora was down there, and I'm sure Dan and all the New York City and Mikey and all the great New York live streamers, Kenny with the rats, and who am I leaving out, Christopher? Anybody else we want to plug there for the New York live streamers? Does anybody live stream in Washington, D.C.? I don't even know. I'm sure they're doing some things in Washington, D.C. there. But there's the Centennial Fountain here. So we're above the Island Party Hut bar there. We'll walk down this way. So I missed a bunch of comments here. Yeah, both candidates are ridiculous. There you go. There you go, Krista. SNL is going to have a new political skit. Yeah, imagine. I guess the new Saturday Night Live starts at the end of September. They announced the new cast members. I guess they're going to have some new cast members. And yeah, imagine the fun they're going to have with this political divide, you know. We need satire. Yeah, we got the... Yep. We caught it. Yeah, Trump's a narcissist. Trump's a narcissist. We know who he is. It's all about him. You know, he'll get. That's why narcissists are dangerous, because they'll get you to die for them in a war, and then they won't fight themselves. They're like chicken hawks, you know. And same as it ever was. Oh yeah, I think Annette. I think women are going to decide this election. I think this election, if anyone. I know not all women are a monolithic group, just like not all minorities vote the same, not all women vote the same, not all men vote the same. I'm a white man. I'm not voting for Trump. I don't identify with his Christian nationalism. I reject that. You know, white evangelical Christian nationalism. I see a lot of racism there. I just do. But I think women are going to decide this election. And look, here's a historic opportunity for us to elect the first woman president in the United States. Isn't that an exciting thing? Think of all the young girls and women that will be inspired by this. England has already done it. Margaret Thatcher. Germany's already done it with Merkel. All these advanced nations, India, Indira Gandhi. We're the America great again. For whom? You know, why was America so great in our past? It was great for some people. For other people, it wasn't so great. For women, for minorities, for immigrants, we know what we're talking about here, you know? And so anytime you want to roll back the clock, there's winners and losers. Not everybody benefits from rolling the clock back. And if our greatness is in our past, what about all this technology and future stuff, you know? Isn't our greatness in our future? You know, I just, you know, it's just my take on it. I don't expect you to believe what my perspective is. That's just, I'm being true. I have to. You have to take a side. You know, I try to be neutral on TikTok because I know my audience sides of any issue. But YouTube, I kind of give you people greater insights into my true political leanings, and I'm definitely anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, and so not that I accept everything from the left. The left deserves criticism too. Sometimes the left has crazy ideas too. We got to acknowledge that. And I got to acknowledge that me as a hippie wannabe socialist here. But welcome to Chicago. And thanks for tuning in here. I'm going to sign off and go back to work here. We got 105. I started the first live about almost an hour ago. So I'm going to end this as we see the Wrigley building here. But hey, thanks for tuning in. We got the construction site. And we got the Centennial Fountain. So remember 9/11. Check out Christopher Dodson's YouTube. You'll be live streaming later today from the Freedom Tower and the fountains down there. I assume that's where you're going, where they're commemorating the site. I went to 9/11 on 2002. In 2002, I was in New York. I remember the site. It was still a rubble recovery site. They had all those missing photos that were on that wall were still there. It was a very solemn ground zero. It was a very solemn place, and I got to see it before they rebuilt the Freedom Tower and the memorial that's there now. So, you know, our hearts go out to the New Yorkers, people in Washington D.C. and Pennsylvania that were affected by 9/11. Thanks for everybody sharing your stories. We won't forget there. So September 11th 2024, we made it this far. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you tonight on TikTok, and I'll be sure to mention 9/11 on TikTok on our walk home here. So thanks everybody. Thanks Cheryl, Michael, Taco, John James, Marco, Sharon, Anna Marie. Thanks everybody. Kedra, Lambie T, Christopher. Thanks everybody. If I missed anybody, Michael, we'll talk to you later. Dia Blaze, we'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot everybody. All right, bye. Yeah, Kevin, thanks for being on. Appreciate it. All right.